Chair.
I tried not to get a speeding ticket this evening, so I'm a little late. I get all the tickets in Edgecombe County.
Wow.
And I was determined not to get one this evening. And it made me a little bit late. But we're delighted that you are here. I have my notebook finally ready to go. All right, welcome to our regular meeting of Edgecombe County Board of Education. The public may view the board meeting at youtube.com, Edgecombe County Public Schools. And now I will declare our meeting to come to order. And at this time, would you join with us as we do our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I ask you to remain standing, please, as we bow in a moment of silence. First, in the loss of a 6th grade student in the Edgecombe County Schools at Parker Middle School, and then in the death of the mother of Mrs. Ruthie McDowell, Director of Food Services for our county. Please bow in a moment of silence for the loss of both of those persons. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Madam. Okay, and I assume everyone has an agenda and we will follow it to the T if we can. Item 2, approval of our agenda for the evening. Dr. Bryant, do you have any other thing to?
Madam Chair, just have one correction. It's on 6.6 under items for information, and the third for the extended day opportunity there. It references Edge Early College, Edgecombe Early College High School. It actually should be Edge Academy. So just changing the name of the school. So the change I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I would ask for a motion to approve this agenda as amended.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. It has been moved and seconded that we will approve our agenda for the evening as amended. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 3, recognition. Ms. Hope.
Good evening, Madam Board Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Bryan. I'm thrilled to recognize Brooks Whitehurst, a phenomenal kindergarten teacher at GW Bullock Elementary School, as our ECPS Employee of the Month for April. She creates a classroom environment that is both structured and nurturing, where young learners feel safe, valued, and excited to learn each day. With her remarkable ability to spark a love of learning, her classroom becomes a space where engagement and curiosity thrive. Her thoughtfully designed centers promote age-appropriate exploration and meaningful growth, while her deep understanding of students' behavioral, academic, and social-emotional needs sets her apart. She uses effective strategies to ensure that every child, no matter their challenge, feels included, supported, and capable of success. Her dedication, expertise, and passion for teaching make her classroom a true model of excellence. We are incredibly grateful for the positive impact she makes every day in the lives of her students in the Bullock Elementary community. Congratulations, Mrs. Whitehurst, and thank you for embodying the heart of ECPS. also have a gift card to present to her from Grace Sessom, State Farm Agent.
Okay, following our agenda, the next item is our public comments. At this time today, I would ask each person who's speaking to give your community that you live and and state how many children you have in the 4 schools that we are discussing. Okay, first person is Miss Natalie Ory.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Natalie O'Ree, and I live in the Meadowbrook community. How many children do I have? I currently serve preschoolers who are being moving up into the school system and advocating for parents to get their children enrolled and, before August. So that's how I feel. And I'm also a community advocate. And anything else you want to know? But I thank you all for the transparency that you all have demonstrated thus far in the process of redistricting our school system. And we want you to continue to give us more information about timelines so that we can keep our communities engaged and informed. I am active with the Meadowbrook Community Organization. We just had a meeting last Saturday. And so we also want you to continue to host public forums to help us to navigate the information that you are sharing with us. I have looked at the newly presented map D, and it does not fully support the Edgemont and the Meadowbrook communities. Matter of fact, it breaks up a few important communities over in our area, and 2 of the major precincts in Rocky Mount, 12-1, the Johnson precinct, and 12-2, the Edgeville Community College precinct. So map D is not suiting us, it's not the best option. Option C is still the best option for our area, geographically. And we have some new development in the area also. And so those areas are growing as we speak. And I know there was a consideration of the commissioners' borders for determination of where the lines will be drawn, but those lines are sort of outdated now due to the growth that has occurred since the lines were drawn in the past. And you may be setting a new bar to help them when the lines are redrawn for them. So, all of this is connected. But we do want to continue to advocate for option C, and we don't see a greater benefit for A or B2 for our areas. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, Ms. Angela Bryant.
Good evening, board members. I don't have any children in school. And however, I do want to mention that the issue of redistricting that we're discussing is a constitutional process that impacts every resident in the county. And by the fact that that Rocky Mount is a twin county city, it impacts our whole city. And many of us have always seen those issues, our issues as connected in that way. I am here representing the School Demerger Community Redistricting Working Group, and that group has people in it from both counties, and it also has worked on the demerger issue and redistricting in both counties. And this is the last part of that process of closing the book on the school demerger process as it relates to responding to the legislation and the decisions as it related to making that redistricting happen. On behalf of the demerger working group, I want to say that we ask that option C be moved forward for further review by the board and the community in your next phase of public information meetings or public hearings. There's not been the opportunity to discuss in depth with you the positive attributes of option C. But we appreciate and applaud the brilliance of Blake in creating option C. And keeping communities of interest together is important for community representation. For example, multiple people won't represent the same neighborhood. It is also important because people will be able to identify who represents them in a simpler manner. Option C provides, as has been stated before, a fair percentage of Black voting age population across the districts, avoiding the high numbers of Black population in options A, 82.5%, and B2, 92%, and D, 89% for District 1. Option D has increased the high percentage of Black voting age population in 2 districts that are predominantly Black, and reduced the Black population in 2 districts that are predominantly white. So we do want to emphasize that for the record. We understand that option D was meant to model the county commissioner's map, which also has high voting age populations in commissioner districts 3 and 7. However, that doesn't have to be the case for the school board. And in 2020, when the commissioner's map was redistricted, for many of the citizens impacted by that map, there was not a focus at that time on the possibility of the annexation of Rocky Mount into Edgecombe County for the school board. So we just really want to ask that you consider, on behalf of the community members in the redistricting work group, that option C move forward for further review in the next phase of your process. Thank you.
Next person, Mr. James Harper, is not here, I'm told. Okay, check that name. Doris Stiff. She had to leave.
Yeah,
What happened?
she had to leave.
Next, Mr. James Wren.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is James Wren. I live at 704 NC 97 East in Leggett area. Me and my wife Mayos have 2 proud graduates of Edgecombe Public Schools. They're not living with us now, but they're in school now, but they're proud graduates of the Edgecombe County Public School system. I come to you today again in support of option C. I know that the last meeting you had a new map drawn up for option D that was modeled on the county commissioner districts. And as other people have said, the one thing that stands out is the high number of Black voters in option D districts 1 and 3, 89%. Which again is a problem in the county commissioner districts. I think the option C is you have less black voters packed in the district. I think both option C and option D have a district from Rocky Mount to Tarboro, outskirts of Tarboro. So I don't think either one is it's not any different than the other in that sense. But we want to support option C. But we also want to ask you to have some public hearings across the county on these two maps. I don't think map A or map B is we need to go back to that. But I would, that we have some public hearings on maps C and D in 4 areas of the county, north in Leggett, Rocky Mountain, Pine Tops, and Tarboro. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends our public comments at this time. Oh, you all want to know why I asked if you had any children currently serving in the school. That's the reason. I was just trying to test where the parents are. Ms. Stiff? Okay, we were right at the end, Ms. Stiff. Would you like to come up and make your comments?
Do I mess up the time? I'll be quick.
No, come right on.
I'm sorry. I came up for 2 things. One was to commend you and the work you've been doing on the demerger process and the public meetings, and also just giving us more options. And now we went from A, B, and C to A, B, C, C2, and D. I really appreciate that because it gives the public representation and opportunities to see that no one is being left out. So I want to appreciate that, appreciate D plan. I'm still favoring C, but there's a lot more people than farmers to favor. So thank you for what you're doing and what you will do and how the public is benefiting and will benefit. And then after we make that final decision, we still have work to do to make sure everyone in the community understands and did for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all for participating. Okay, we'll move to item 5 on our agenda. Approval of our open session minutes, March the 3rd. Does anyone have any corrections, comments at all about our March 3rd open session minutes? Hearing none, I need to have a motion to approve those minutes.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of the March 3rd, 2025 open session minutes as presented.
Second. It's been moved and properly second that we will approve our March 3rd. It was a special call meeting. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. March 10th, work session minutes. Do we have any concerns, questions, comments on those minutes? Hearing none. Could we have a motion to approve the work session minutes on March 10th
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the March 10th work session minutes.
Second.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve our March 10th work session minutes. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Our March 10th, 2025 regular business open session. Did anyone find any concerns in that set of minutes? Hearing none, I need to hear a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the March 10th regular business open session minutes.
Has been moved and properly seconded that we will approve our March 10th regular business open session minutes. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, items for information. 6.1. Donna Simmons. The near. That's why she's even moved. Mispronounced the name.
Good afternoon. I'm going to ask my sister, Rena Simmons, who is the chief of our programs, present.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you so much. So tonight I was tasked with presenting to you all the nonprofit organization, One Harvest Life Center, and I'm here to give you some background information of who we are. We are a young, bright, flourishing organization new to the community, but we want to share some of the information that we have been doing, and so that everybody can know who we are. My name again is Rena Simmons. I am the Chief Director of Programs at One Harvest Life Center, and we have been established. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We are our mission, our vision is to bridge the socioeconomic gap and equipping individuals and families with educational tools to build a healthy, holistic life. We have been established ever since 2017. We have been doing work in our community currently. In the last 4 years, we have done a lot of work. In the last 2 years, we have done a lot of work. We have recently received our second round of funding from Edgecombe County, the Edgecombe County Recreational Mini Grant. We are a 2-year recipient, and that monies have provided us to be able to do after school and weekend events for our youth. We have a plethora of things that we do for our youth. One of the events that was funded that we hosted was the drone event, the drone technical education event. We collaborated with Edgecombe County Emergency Operations and Edgecombe Community College in October of last year, and that was a successful event. Mr. Daniel Webb was able to come out to educate our youth about drones and flying and possibly having a career. We also, this past Saturday, we had a youth-led community bike ride where we partnered with a lot of people in Edgecombe County. Our own Sheriff Atkinson, he came out. Also the Chief of Police, our Mayor Tate was also there. County Manager and the Town of Harborough also supported in a mighty strong way. Our youth came out in large numbers, and so we were successful with that event. Again, these programs that we have, they benefit our youth. With One Harvest, we have a youth council called Tribe, and the name, it stands for Together Reaching Youth for Better Environments. And so all of these things, like I said, they benefit from what we do, the incentives that we have in place. The programs help to support Edgecombe County getting off the list, okay? So this is some things that One Harvest Life Center does, and like I said, my sister and I, we work together in the community, and we look forward to doing more events, and we look forward to partnering with more people in our town, in our city. And by the way, I did have 3 children from Edgecombe County to graduate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep them coming, keep them coming.
With your permission, we can give out this information.
Sure.
I'd like to say thank you, Dr. Johnson, who was my 8th grade teacher. Thank you, Ms. Kent, who was my teacher in Edgecombe Community College. I say all this to say that when we're in Edgecombe, that's one of the things, the strong things that we like to share with everybody, that you don't have to leave here. You can live here, work here, get your education from here, and we can also have children here to help us, to give that message. And one of the other things that we're doing is social-emotional health. We have therapists that are licensed that are talking to them about their social-emotional health to uplift them and also help them and motivating them in the work that they're doing. We're giving them service projects. We know that our counties also have food insecurities, and that we have a service project that we will be actually doing with these youth, and they will lead them. So what we want to do is we want to be an adult to guide them, but the children to lead the projects.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, young ladies. Excellent presentation. We'll continue with our agenda, 6.2, our school updates. Dr. Bryan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we start tonight, I will note see a lot of folks wearing blue ribbons this evening, and a lot of people wearing blue, highlighting National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And certainly we have a lot of events planned this week as well. We had a big day today. Edgecombe County Public Schools, our Special Olympics occurring today at Tarboro High School. It's good to see Reverend Privet out there sort of facilitating the day and helping everybody get to the right place. Couldn't be more proud of all of our amazing students who were there today from across the district. Great participation today in a great event. Lots of community support, volunteers, and lots of different organizations involved in it. Successful. Huge shout out to Megan Sykes, Director of Exceptional Children, her incredible EC team, along with Town of Tarboro, and Edgecombe County Special Olympics Committee for organizing such a meaningful event, and the Jersey Mike's of Tarboro for generously donating lunch for all of our athletes and volunteers. So very, very good day. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to go to Cary. Our ECPS Teacher of the Year, Ms. Tamika Farmer, fourth grade teacher at G.W. Carver Elementary School, was honored as a finalist for the Girls Welcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year ceremony. She represented Edgecombe County with excellence as a Regional Teacher of the Year. We're incredibly proud of her dedication, leadership, and positive impact. She had a great showing for Edgecombe County, and very proud of her.
Thank you.
Last Friday as well, there was a ferocious STEM design challenge competition. Nash and I believe Wilson and Wilson, just Nash and Edgecombe. Thank you, Joseph. Congratulations to South Edgecombe Middle School for capturing first place in Friday's STEM Design Challenge held at Rocky Mountain Event Center. Very proud of our team there at South Edgecombe. They brought home first place.
All right.
Lots of great events there that day, great opportunities for students, regardless of what school district they're in. And we're just proud of our students and coaches from South Edgecombe Middle School. And thank you to everybody who helped make that happen. And a special thank you to STEP, who does a great job in sponsoring lots of amazing opportunities for students across our counties, and dedication to workforce development and innovation, which we think is really important. We also had a great week last week with Art Explosion, if I can say it correctly. Huge success at on the 7th, we had a Variety Fest, to powerful performances on the Band Fest night, which was April 10th. And lots of Edgecombe County students who showed off their vision and talent with the arts, and just got lots of rave reviews from families and community members and staff. And we just want to thank everybody who made that happen. A great event. And I have to tell you, when our students hit the stage, there's an energy, electricity that comes through the building when they do that, and it's fun to see. It's a great celebration. Thank you. Finally, and I know nobody will be excited about this, but spring break begins on Friday. All schools will be closed from April 18 through April 25. We wish all students and staff a restful and well-deserved spring break. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. They just pretended that they were excited. They were some kind of happy out there.
You think they were pretending? They seem pretty excited to me.
Yes, that was wonderful. Okay. 6.3, Dr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am. It is that time of the year for budget consideration. And tonight I will present you with what I will call a draft budget proposal. And just for everybody out there listening and presentation purposes tonight, the board is going through the process. We'll be going through the process now, looking for local budget requests. And I always say to everybody, this is a local request for funding. As everybody knows, our budget also made up of state funding and also federal funding. So all those things are taken into consideration. It seems there's a lot of uncertainty this year in regards to what the state and federal numbers might be. Actually, tonight, just a few minutes before the meeting started, the Senate, General Assembly in North Carolina, actually released their budget for what their proposal was for the year. I've not had a chance to look at that yet. So I always tell people that this is a fluid process, and sometimes the numbers change. So even what I say tonight might have already changed already. So I will just say that for everybody's information. But tonight, what I put out there is some thoughts for the board to consider, for them to eventually adopt their own local budget request to the county commissioners for some things that we think are important. And I will preface all this tonight, and I'll say several things, but our Board of Education prioritizes retaining and attracting the very best educators and individuals to support students. And that is their number one priority, or has been. So I will talk about some of the supplement increases that I'll be proposing within this, and the board will certainly take this up into consideration as we move through the next couple of months. with the requirement that we present to the county commissioners, and we'll actually have a joint meeting with the county commissioners in April 22nd as well. So there are some fixed costs in here, an increase in the cost of current supplements based on an estimated 3% state raise. That's a number to sort of hold there, 3%. We're not exactly sure what that state raise may be. So that is certainly subject to change. Also recommended an increase in teacher supplement rate from 10% to 11%. An increase in school administrative supplements across the board to try to get our lowest paid administrative supplement to 11%. Also an increase in some administrative supplements for some folks in the CO. Classified supplement increase from $300 a year to about $1,300 a year. And in my own perspective, I think increasing the classified supplement is critically important for us in the school district. Finally, a 10% rate increase for athletic supplement for our coaches. You'll see the information I've given you there that accounts to about $966,000 to increases in funding. And then some proposed salary increases estimated, again, trying to account for what we think the state increases might be for locally paid individuals. A 3% state raise, again, that 3% might change. And then also looking at revising our bus driver pay schedule supplement to look at increasing that, sort of the average increase of 7 to 14% per hour, which those two things would cost about $180,000. We also built in an increase in utilities, about $300,000. And then all of that comes out to a total, at this point, $1,446,000, which would be about 13.5% increase. So let me talk a little bit about some rationale behind this. And as you all know, as we move forward with this process, we have a nice, tidy booklet that will contain all this information and information that you need to make informed decisions as you work on the budget. Because ultimately, this will be my recommendation to the board, but it becomes the board's budget, and the board will make their decision about what they want to pass and support, which will in turn be submitted to the county commissioners. We've tried to take into account input and feedback from folks as we've had conversations throughout the year, not always specifically about budget, but about input about how we can do things better and how we can better support retaining and attracting the very best people. We try to get that information from folks. As I noted before, one of our top priority is retain the very best people to teach and support our students in the classroom. In the current environment, there's intense competition to do that, to attract and retain the very best folks. And it's also in an environment where there seem to be fewer and fewer people going into the education profession. So it's a smaller pipeline of individuals with keener competition for that. As I noted a little bit earlier, certainly trying to raise some of the pay for individuals in that regard to accomplish that. That's not always the only answer, but it's certainly part of an answer for that. As I noted before, we try to touch employees across the district in all those categories to try to increase some of that funding to support them. There will also be a local capital budget request that you'll be receiving very soon as well. We're in the final process of getting our final quotes. And as you know, sort of capital needs and some of the variability and costs for that are becoming very erratic, have been very erratic recently. So we're trying to get some firmer numbers for what we're trying to do. As you remember from last year, You will have photos and pictures of things that we feel like that we need to improve, and hopefully some costs that will be very accurate with that. As always, the bottom line and most important thing for us is to make sure our students are being successful. And we're going to do everything we can to not only make sure they're successful in school, we want to be an engine to support economic development in our community. We want to make sure our students are prepared, not only in the classroom, but to develop the workforce development skills that they need to be successful, whether they're here in Edgecombe County or wherever they might be, both to contribute to their individual success or the success of the community they're living in. As someone mentioned a little bit earlier, Edgecombe County is a great place to grow up, live,
That's right.
work, go to school.
That's it.
All those great things.
Still here.
And we want students who can do that if they choose to live here and contribute here to be part of that process. That's critically important to us. Over the past year, we've been fortunate to have some great successes on the economic development front for our school district and community. Natron Energy relocating here to the Kingsborough mega site is critically important, and obviously Amazon has been involved with distribution centers and things there in Tarboro. So it seems to be, we seem to be on a very positive trend, and we want to contribute to that and be a part of that. Finally, we know that we always want to do better as a school district, and we are trying to put a number of things in place to make that happen in the classroom for students, from graduation rate to accountability scores, to how well our students read, do math and science, contribute to workforce development, and also just are part of innovative things that happen in the classroom and across schools. We are trying to put a plan in place and tried to work on that over the last year to improve our school district and improve opportunities for students. A small school district with great opportunity. That's what we strive for. And you all, and the public, will be getting even more information about this as we go through the process, but I wanted to make sure you were aware that tonight is just for informational purposes tonight, but we'll be going through a pretty intense process as we go through the next month, and your local budget request to the commissioners, and also as we watch what is happening at the state and federal level as well. Any questions for me or thoughts for me as we conclude this conversation?
I have some. I really am scared about not having students excited about becoming a teacher. I do not think that we are starting early enough to discuss the issue with students. I recall my teacher discovering my talent in the 4th grade. And I was able to continue to college and so forth and keep my talent in place. So I'm just saying that maybe we ought to be sure that we are covering that issue to try to make sure that students are find their interest early, and hopefully we don't get to the point where we just can't hardly find a teacher. Have to go a long way.
May I respond, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Edgecombe has taken an innovative approach, I believe, towards developing increasing number of students. Our scholar teacher program that our foundation has been such an important part of, probably the founding principle of what the foundation was founded on,
Yes.
has been really important for our school district. And I think we are seeing the benefits of that within our school. I do certainly agree with you that we can continue to expand upon that at a younger age, where we will try to make sure that students have an understanding of what it means to be in education and be a teacher, and to maybe pursue that as a career. I think we're looking at this now as sort of two solutions to the issue. There's a short-term solution and there's a long-term solution. And we're trying to make sure that we do everything we can to pursue both of them. During this year, for the first time, we've actually expanded the Scholar Teacher Program to include some students at the traditional high schools who are not just at the early college. And we've had a student who has pursued that, which has been good. And we're looking to expand that even more, and that'll be part of the foundation discussion as well. So I think there's some exciting things out there, but your point is, I think, right on the mark and duly noted for us. As students explore different careers, which we try to do that for our students at the elementary and middle school level, we need to make sure that we are including education and teaching as part of that discussion. And to enhance that.
Other board members
I just want to mention, I'm glad we're thinking about increasing the salaries of bus drivers. It's disheartening when we don't have a bus driver and we have children who need to get to school. And I'm hoping that might be part of the solution. I don't know if that's going to be part of the solution, but maybe more people will be attracted to driving for us, or even employees who may choose to do that before and after the traditional job.
Madam Chair, I think that our teachers themselves can do a lot and go a long ways in influencing the teaching profession upon the students. I knew the second grade I was going to teach. There was no question. Everybody that I came in contact with at home, in the community, at church, wherever I went, they prided themselves in being teachers, and we looked up to them. My band director, my coaches, my scoutmasters, the Sunday school teachers. I think our teachers can do a lot to let people know that this is an honorable and a very special profession. I hear too much of us putting it down. And I think we need to do more to let them know that it is something of honor.
I'm going to say this, and I'm through with this part, because we have a 6-page agenda, and I realize that. I know a teacher that complains all the time, and I do not believe that teacher is encouraging anyone in its classroom to be a teacher. But this is something that we just need to start talking about it more and supporting what we have already in the making.
Madam Chair, may I say one other thing? We are always reevaluating things, looking at different levels of employees and salary scales, et cetera. So even as we're talking now, we are continuing to do that as we work through this process. So I always put this disclaimer out there that what I present tonight is always subject to change, and ultimately depends upon your approval. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're only on item 6.4. Mr. Perkins.
Well, Madam Chair, I am sorry to report.
Oh, my goodness.
I have to give the maintenance report tonight.
Second string again.
Second string again.
Oh, man.
For those of you who don't know, when I have to give the maintenance report, it's the second string is in. Sorry. Thank you, Joseph. So this is a before and after repair on Fairview of some leaking pipes that we had, installation in the school. wall that was repaired at Phillips Middle School before. This is us work there. This is a boiler room, steam removal. There's some steam issues there with the boiler at South. And then full repairs on the door. Children's classroom. And then we changed out some carpet, principal's office open. And whole door southwest that was leading to And I will just share with everybody, because I know we want to keep this moving, but, you know, when we show photos like this, we try to give people an example of some of the work that's being done. It's not all of the work that's being done. There are lots of other things that happen during the day and planning and lots of different things. But, and you will see that in your capital budget request as we move forward the next couple of weeks. So thank you, Madam Chair.
And kudos to the maintenance people, because they do all of that stuff.
We'll tell Mr. Perkins.
We told him, that might be why he doesn't come.
Well, there might be some method to the madness, I'm not sure.
Mr. Perkins look like straight at me when he comes. He wants to hear what has happened. He'll be expecting a report from me. You got to keep it real. Okay. Next. Okay, field trips. Dates. Dr. Bryant, 6.5.
So what you have in there, extended day for Princeville Elementary School to the zoo in Asheboro. And then you also, in 6.6, you also have some overnight field trips that were previously approved, and lots of different extended day trips. They're there for your information. We have a lot going on.
Okay. You
And
want
if I may continue?
Yes, 6.7.
6.7, you have fundraisers there for various schools. Lots of different goodies on there as well, from the Double Good popcorn at Edge Academy. And then, if I may, Madam Chair, I will just go ahead and go to 6.8. Child Nutrition Program submitted non-congregate summer meal model application with No Kids Hungry in the amount of $30,000.
Could I ask a quick question about the expansion of it? Will we be able to expand that program project? Isn't like the summer program?
Ms. Ruthie, would you like to answer the
Oh, is
question?
Miss Ruthie here?
Wow.
Oh, hello, Miss Ruthie.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We would like to expand the program.
Oh,
And I was just listening to those two ladies that were up here. I want to connect with you so that you can do summer feeding at your site this summer too. So, yes, this grant is going to hopefully, I want to expand the program, hopefully purchase a van to take meals to the householders. Remember, like we did during COVID? Non-congregate means families that have to come to us. We're going to take it to them. And expand the program and do it to maybe a few households anyway.
good. Thank you. Thank you. Item 7, we have no committee report. Okay. 8.8, consent item. Dr. Bryant.
Madam Chair, you have field trips, fundraisers, you have a grant being received by North Edgecombe High School for athletic department. Coach Wimberly accepting monetary donations, $1,652 from the Philip Brooks Alumni Association, designated sport initiatives and programs at dwindling. And also, 8.5A, we have sort of participation in our 2024-25 re-administration program, plan for testing for students in reading and math. Had some changes that came down from the state, and we've reworked that to allow us to do some remediation and testing at the end of the school year prior to the school year getting out. I think I've covered everything there, Madam Chair.
All right. Board members, do you have any questions to Dr. Bryant in that section about consent items? Hearing none, we need one motion to approve all of our consent items.
Madam Chair, make that motion to approve, for the approval of all of the consent items as presented.
Second.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve the consent items as presented. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very kindly, Dr. Brown. 8.B, items for action. I'm sorry we did not recognize our attorney with us this evening, but I'll do it now. Attorney Stagner is going to be with us as we discuss this section of the next step for posting and public feedback on the draft redistricting maps. Oh, how you, Mr. Blake?
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Bryant. Y'all are going to be tired of seeing me and Blake and talking about this, but we're just here, as you know, we went through quite a bit of information on the new option at the work session. I hope you all have now had a chance to look at that. Blake and I are here to answer any questions, but ultimately the goal tonight, we hope, is that you will narrow down the options so that we can move forward with getting public input, having some public information sessions, and I think the superintendent has put together some options for dates and locations. And as we've talked about before, we'll, once you have selected one or two or three, however many you can narrow it down to, options to move forward with, we'll put up some big maps around the county. Again, they're available on the website, and so this is an opportunity for you all to ask any questions. And then if you're ready to move forward, to select a couple of options to go forward with.
Yes. I think we need to label the locations that we expect, and any of the board members can name the places that we would like for the maps to be. Is that correct, or am I in the wrong lane?
I think the superintendent has some suggestions.
Madam Chair, I've got some suggestions, and we talked about them a couple of months ago, but we talked about sites across the county spread out from libraries to IOC to county administrative buildings, both Harper and various places. So I think we have about at least 7 locations that we want to put maps out there for folks, and we will make an official announcement on that. Some of that is dependent upon, we want to make sure we're double checking on the timeline. We've not obviously ordered maps yet until you all approve what you want to publish for the community. So we're waiting on that, and then we think we can have an announcement either by the end of the day tomorrow or by the first thing on Wednesday. And we will publicize, since we have our system that sends information out, but website, social media, and anybody who has signed up for the redistricting process, we can very easily publicize that and send that out to everybody. And while we're talking about it, I would suggest, at least to begin with, that the community meetings be held at North Edgecombe High School, Southwest Edgecombe High School, Tarboro High School, and D.S. Johnson Elementary School. And I say D.S. Johnson because it might be a little bit bigger there versus having a teacher resource center. So, but we can adjust and add as we need to. But those would be the initial 4, and that seems to hit 4 areas of the county. And I even have some dates for you to consider, but I'd really like to put that out for you all first so that you all can confirm your schedule, and then we can announce ASAP so everybody will know when they are. Well, I think I can get that information to you. Give you all some time to check your calendar tonight and early tomorrow, and then we will publicize that just like we have all the other information. I just want to make sure it works for you, and then if we can confirm your calendars, then we can confirm that with the different sites, high schools, and the sites throughout the county. So we get it all coordinated at one time. And then publicize it.
Well, I think we need to find a calendar. Okay, taking a little minute here. I see everybody looking. Do you have your calendar, Mr. Evans? Anybody have a problem with that? On this side? It's okay? Monday, May 5th? All right, we got it. All right. That's the location. Now, all the locations that you mentioned, we'll need to go to each of those. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. And if you don't mind, I would like to match locations and dates by working with each one of those. I want to make sure I work with each one of those schools to make sure that they don't have some type of special event that night. With our high schools, that's really hard sometimes, so I just want to have a little bit of flexibility before we match dates and high school settings together.
Okay, that's your job. And the time is always, whatever we do is at 6 p.m.
Well, that's a time that we have thrown out, but we can adjust that as you all see fit. High schools are usually pretty busy, so but at 6, unless there's a game going on or
That's a
something
better
or an
time.
event, it's usually a little better time.
All right. I need to hear from the board. Is all that we just said okay? That our next meeting will be Monday, May 5th. And we'll do these meetings at all 4 locations that's listed here. Tarboro High School, North Edgecombe, Southwest Edgecombe, and D.S. Johnson. And the time we'll keep at 6 p.m.
And I will communicate with the board to double check all the dates and give y'all time to take a look as well.
Question. Dr. Bryant, did you mean for us to look at all of these dates listed here?
Yes, sir.
So Starting with May 1st.
May
first.
May 5th.
First.
Yeah, the first is on there, but that's,
There's 5 dates, 4 dates here.
we have another big thing that day. That's why I didn't mention it. But we need to do it early and move forward. So that's why the next day.
If the board's okay with it, I will send out a communication to you and get that information back. And we will make a decision, and we, just like we have everything else, we'll make sure we publicize that for everybody to be able to be there, whichever site they might want to choose. Okay?
So we actually need to look at each one of these to see if
One
they're
of them, because
available.
they come in different places.
Different sites.
Different sites, different days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have enough information for us, for me to move on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that clear as mud for you?
Well, I think the important thing is for the board to, number one, do you have any questions about any of the 4 plans you've seen?
Oh,
And number 2, which 2 plans would you like to move forward with to have at these public information sessions? If you were ready to narrow it down.
And that's the direction that we need from you as the board, is which maps do you want to gather public input on? And that will give us guidance about what we need to do, move forward with the dates and maps we need to get copied, et cetera.
start.
Madam Chair.
Your date. Your date. Your map.
Yes.
Yes.
I had a recommendation for the 2 maps.
I think I was wanting to hear what each board member had to say. Let them, and if we're not on your toes, then you squeal.
Oh, we're good.
We want to do 2, right?
Again, there's nothing, sort of magical about 2, except that it's, we've got 4 maps. 4 is a lot to get public input.
Awful lot.
Too much.
If you have narrowed it down to 2, I think that gives the public a good opportunity to compare. And, if you all can eliminate 2 that you're just not happy with right now, and then move forward to get public input on 2 more, I think that makes a lot of sense. If you, it's sort of a sweet spot as far as the number of maps. But if you are just determined that there are 3 great ones, or there's just one that you all like, we could go forward with that as well.
What if there was like a map that you wanted to see some revisions on?
Well, again, I think that would be, the board would need to give us direction, when I say us, I mean specifically Blake, give direction on how to, what changes you would like to see to any particular map. I do think that would, sort of stop the, I don't want to say momentum, but we would, I think, need to bring that back to the board so everyone could look at it, and then we could look at putting it out in the public, having the public information session. So certainly can be done if that's the desire of the board.
Madam Chair, my options that I choose is option C and option D.
Excuse me, A and D.
I want to see a revision on D. And if I had to make another choice, A, but I want to see some revisions on D.
C and D.
C and D.
What was Calvin's?
What did you say, Julie?
A and D.
A and D or
A and D.
D?
C and D.
Now, since we need to, what was that map we want to see revisions on? D.
Make a motion to kick B out. That would be going in, that would be one off because no one chose B. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I know it's not where you want us to be,
Step in the right direction, that's
but it at least takes one off the table because no one chose B.
I have a question. Ms. Wilson didn't name him too.
Oh, I didn't? Y'all were listening. Good. I'm not ready because I want to see revisions that's going to come out of D.
Well, again, just to be clear, I mean, certainly we can make revisions, Blake could make some changes if that's the wish of the whole board. If you're satisfied with D, if most folks are satisfied with D, if you're curious about seeing what those changes are, it's really the board's decision. And maybe there's small changes, I don't know, Mr. Ellis.
They're not earth-shattering.
What change, I'd be interested, what changes would you like to see in D?
Okay, indeed, I would like to see, someone mentioned like the communities or whatever in the Rocky Mountain area had been Meadowbrook and something else. I would like to see him do something with that to try to get those communities back together the way they were in C. I don't think that, I don't think that would be that big of an issue. My other is all of the incumbents here, for the most part, has got a reasonable amount of constituents that they had in their area from the previous except Ms. Kent. I would like to see if there was a possibility to revise her area and Mr. Reverend Privett's area, and just it's based on the constituents and also communities of interest together. To look at maybe old Highway 64 to make that the what's north of 64 into Miss Kent's district, to give her some more constituents than what she has had. I know then that you might have to tweak a little bit something else somewhere else, but I don't think would be real major to do that. But when Miss Kent's area was pulled down into that little spot, it just basically covers her neighborhood. So she has next to nothing as far as any constituents that she's been serving through these many years. But I mean, it would give her more if, like I said, and you may have to adjust Reverend Privett's a little bit somewhere to even it out, or whatever how you do it. But when I was looking at the map, that was the best solution I could see as far as trying to give her some constituents that she's had in the past, if that makes sense. And the other thing, like I said, was trying to get the Rocky Mount area, get that area based upon the way it is in draft C, as far as the communities together.
I think C is the one that keeps communities whole. The
That's
other
what I
ones
was-
split them up, the other ones divide them.
So just to remind board members, option A was the priority was keeping the current districts as much as they are as together as possible. So that was the plan that would keep the most constituents with the incumbent board member, was option A. Option C was to keep communities of interest together. That was the priority. And then option D, the priority was to follow the commissioner districts as close as possible with just minor changes to include incumbents. And so, Mr. Ellis, that's why, just dropping down to get Ms. Kent in District 5, because we were keeping those commissioner districts and just trying to make sure so that, other changes would be more of a deviation from the commissioner districts, which was our understanding. So certainly if the board wants to go a different direction now, and Blake may have some comment about how, he thinks it could be done or not done easily.
I have one question. At the last meeting, he mentioned communities of interest in 5, and he listed 3 communities of interest. They're not together, they're individual, right?
I'm going to let Blake answer that.
Like when you mention more than one community, like you mentioned Austin Pines, Mobile Home Estates, and Brentwood. That's 3 different communities of interest or one community of interest?
That's a good question. So in the document that we received from the community group that had specified communities of interest that they wanted kept intact or kept groups together, there were identified groups of communities, and this was true in Rocky Mount as well as Tarboro. So those would have been individual communities that had been requested to be kept together in the same district. So to answer your question, I guess it sort of depends on who you ask. But yes, those are, or maybe one could say that those were separate subdivisions or neighborhoods that wanted, that the group had identified as communities that would be desirable to be kept in one district.
Well, that's my district, and that's nowhere close to being true at all.
Again, as Deborah said, the priority was to do that in option C, and in option C, that those requests were honored. So are you saying that you don't agree with the request that the community group put to have those grouped together, or that in option D, that wasn't satisfied?
I'm just saying Austin Pines, Mobile Home Estates, and Brentwood would not be 3 communities that would be of interest in one group.
Okay, so your understanding or your evaluation of that would be different than what the community group submitted?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Which makes me wonder, I mean, if the people that put these together were basically the Rocky Mountain Ash group, they may not have a clear understanding of other sections of the county's community of interest. But that just kind of came up random last time, and I thought, well, those 3 areas don't have any, I mean, I imagine it was a demographic move, but if that's not a group, that 3 groups that would have anything in common. Austin Pines would be more in line with Barrington Woods and North, whatever it's called, North.
And Ms. Kemp, thank you for clearing that up, because as I think Blake and I said when we started off this process, we're not familiar with the county as you all are, and so then the desire of the board was to get public input. So we had the website opened up, it was advertised to get input, and honestly, that was the only input we got was from the one group. So there was nothing else to go by, and that was what we went by. So if there are changes that need to be made to reflect board members' understanding, because you've represented, these districts for years, that's feedback that certainly Blake could use if the board wants to see some other option.
I think, and we wanted one thing, one of the main thing was to keep us from having to run against one another.
Yeah.
So it looks like indeed you scooped out a section to keep us from having to do that. I think you scooped out your section and moved you up to keep us from having to run against one another. That was the first thing that we told them that we didn't, not to do.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying, to me, the process is if you got these different maps where there may be some tweaking that you want with the maps. We were given D the other night, and we said we were going to go home and look at it. Now, I've looked at it, and I'm asking about some options possibly, which I don't think there's nothing wrong with. We're not doing this just for us here around the table. We're doing it also for the ones that are going to be coming behind us later on, 5, 10, 20 years from now.
These maps would be good until 2030.
2030, right, to 2030. I think,
Well, there might be somebody coming before then.
I think but I think and one thing that we wanted to do was keep communities of interest together and neighborhoods whole. When we looked at 2 of them that split neighborhoods all to pieces, really.
What I'm looking at is not splitting up neighborhoods. In fact, I've asked for the Rocky Mount to try to get them back together to where they were. And where I said make a line is not splitting up. There's no neighborhoods that are going to be split up.
But where would we have been if we did not have option D at all? The only reason why we did option D was to be resembling the commissioners. Okay, so where would we be if we didn't have option D?
Well, personally, I didn't like A, B, or C.
Well, we gotta have something.
I understand, but I got a right to voice my opinion just like everybody else.
You have, but if we want
And I don't think what I'm asking is
neighborhoods of interest together, communities whole, is what we're asking. I don't see that that's a bad thing to have for.
And the only thing I've heard about communities being split up from D is from Rocky Mount, and I'm asking Blake to look at that and see if he can adjust that to get that together the way it's listed in C.
And again, I say, what if we didn't have D at all?
But we do got
We just got D last week.
So when he does that, it'll be more of a modification of the direct what we have and actually have in C, really.
Not necessarily, no.
I don't think we know what it's going to be until we see it.
That's why I said, let Blake look at it. He made a request, answer it so we can move on.
But give what he wants in it. You just can't tell Blake to modify it. He might, just tell him what it is that you want to see.
I do.
And what was that again?
Going down Highway 64, because Ms. Kent has very few constituents that she's had throughout these years. That would give her a few more constituents of what she's had in the past. And the other thing is getting the Rocky Mounts areas together, whatever was had been divided up, Meadowbrook and something else. They said it had split up.
So I don't know that you can bring in 10,000 new people and all of us not have all of the constituents that we had.
I didn't say that they had all the constituents. I said a reasonable number of constituents.
Of course, that's going to depend on who's saying that reasonable.
I thought it was reasonable.
One man, one
definition
vote,
of
one
it.
man, one vote.
That's exactly right.
One man, one
And
vote.
that's my vote.
And it's on the table, it's on the table.
So Blake might be able to give some quick input. I don't, he hasn't had a chance, obviously, to look at those requests, but.
So can you all see what I'm sharing from my computer here? A map on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and Ms. Kent is District 5, correct?
Correct.
So the black outlines here, I'll just put them on. So the black outline here that we see is Ms. Kent's current district. What's in this black outline? That's the existing district, so those would be her current constituents. And then if I add option D, I'm going to turn on option D and make option D visible. You can see that what's in pink is what would be in District 5 in option D. So all of the area that is pink inside this black outline would currently be part of Ms. Kent's district, and it would be part of her district in option D. So I believe the residence is in this area here, and this portion, I'm just, in terms of land area, it's probably a little less than half of her district would be in the pink, so in the district in option D. But what I'm understanding, if I just want to make sure that I would be asked to adjust this so that more of her constituents would be brought into the pink.
Yes.
As I think was suggested, that can be done, but they're going to be knock-on effects. They're going to be...
Which was, listen, my constituents.
Yes.
Take mine away.
I don't think they'll be yours.
If he goes down and bring you back up, because you took mine, maybe we'll. Which is 6 of them.
So, and, Reverend, you're District 6, correct? So I do sort of the same analysis here. Currently, this is the District 6 outline. And that, in option D, that district would become much more compact. That's the one in tan. Here. So the challenge then is moving in, because District 3 is narrow. Yeah, as I said, there would be kind of knock-on effects or a cascading series of effects, I think, which is certainly something I can look at. But as Deborah said, that just means another number of weeks would go by before the next time to evaluate and choose plans.
The community's interest don't phase me either, because like now, my neighborhood is split. Like right across the street from me is served by a totally different person.
That's right.
So that's why the communities of interest thing is not, that's not that important.
And I'm just the opposite. Communities of interest and leaving neighborhoods whole is important to me, so that you can relate to these people and tell them talk to them and let them know where they vote, who they have.
And C had more of that.
C has a mixture of all of it.
Mixture of all of it, you know, when you look at what we're trying to do. I think really if you look realistically, I think
I'm looking realistically at it.
well, I guess
Speak, you have a voice.
it's just that, you know,
Take out percentages of racial, because that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't draw according to that.
that
You say.
that's all. I think C answers what C is more realistic about what we're looking to do. I know we brought the commissioners piece in, you know, to do that. But what we've done, we've created more problems rather than resolve something we already have. The community is as it is, and I think it's just, if we just kind of look at it realistically, everybody's have to adjust. But when you come with the commissioners, it brings about more, it create more problems.
We thought it was going to help, but it didn't.
It didn't help.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I hate to say this, but probably what would be the best bet is the real county commissioner map, but that would put people running.
That would have me against you and you against you.
Yes.
And that's
But
what
I
we
mean,
did.
that would be the easiest for the community because it's no change at all. But I know that's not something we want. But I'm saying if we were looking at what's best for the community, giving them the same thing for the county commissioners and the school districts would be the county commissioner map. I know, I'm just saying what would be easier for the community is the same thing. But what one thing we said we didn't want.
That's what you got a lot of land, but not a lot.
And that's true.
Say it again, that's true.
That's true.
That's true.
She said some people may
Some
not
people
know.
in the community may not even realize the lines when it comes to comparing the Board of Ed to the commissioners. Because, you know, I've worked it before I came on this board, and they were familiar with where they were voting. And now you get ready to stir up again and change their locations for voting. If we were to take the lines and put them to coordinate with the commissioners. You got people learning where they're going to vote again, all over again.
Well, I don't think, and maybe something different, but typically the person votes in your precinct, but they may get a different style of ballot depending on what district they're in. So they're not necessarily going to be moving where they vote. It's the type of the ballot that they actually get at their voting location.
Now, they may move where they vote. It's a possibility that they could move where they vote. There is a possibility.
But a couple of us have the same commissioners. Some don't have a commissioner in that district.
Oh, in the school district.
Right. Some don't have one. We have, both of us have the same. But there are some of us, some who don't have one.
Mr. Allen.
Okay, I'll make this quick. I make a motion and just let it fall where it may, that I would like to see some revisions as stated to option D.
Second, that, what did you say?
That I'd like to see the revisions for map D as stated.
It has been moved and properly second that we, Mr. Ellis would like to see the revisions that he stated. Done. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Raise your hand. All right, opposed? Okay, even Stephen, I think he should have his request. So that's 4-3. That means he get his request and it doesn't move anything.
Madam Chair, could we
We
make
just got to trim it down for time.
I was just going to suggest, could we make a motion to take B completely off the table, since nobody mentioned B in their list, and that would at least narrow us down some. Would that be beneficial? Ms. Stagg?
Because it's not mentioned. It's not mentioned, so that means it's not.
Something we don't have to work out.
Right. You don't have to worry about what's not on the table.
Okay.
So let me just.
Do we have to have a time frame now
I
for
think
you
that-
all to do what he's asking?
I think the May dates that were put out originally are going to be off the table at this point. What I would ask, though, is first of all, does Blake have enough information to do this, to undertake this task? And number two, if there are any other changes that board members would like to see, this might be the time to incorporate them. So, for example, Ms. Kent, you mentioned that you felt some communities were not properly together. If you have additional input, it would be good to have Blake hear that now, so that any final version of Map D incorporates anything that the board wants to see as a proposed change. Because before, again, option D was taking the commissioners' districts and making tiny little changes. As I think he said, 97% of people are still in the commissioner district. So if you're deviating for that now, it's not going to be the same map as the commissioner. So if there are other changes that the board would like to see, I think this would be the time to share that.
6 people called out the, but that's as is, I would assume. So now, that changes. Because if Mr. Ellis's request is honored, I don't believe or expect it to come out to be just like it is.
It won't be the same D.
So that will probably change.
If I may, what sort of like we had option B and B2, I don't know that it's been made clear that if I were to make revisions to option D and come back with D2, that D2, the second version of D, would necessarily supplant D. In other words, if some board members actually prefer the original D to the second version of D, it wasn't clear for me to the motion that for me to come back with some revisions to D would necessarily replace that. So I would ordinarily would come back with something called D2, and the board could evaluate whether they thought that D2 was an improvement or not over the original D.
Correct. So Blake, what is it that you're going to do with D now, that in the D2? What are you going to do with it? What is it that we're going to put in it that we need to see, are going to see?
So the notes that I've taken, and from what I understand from the motion and what was stated, It would be to change the lines in the Rocky Mount area to be more consistent with the stated communities of interest, more along the lines in that southern Rocky Mount area of District C, so to honor the communities of interest there and keep them intact in southern Rocky Mount, and then also in the area of Ms. Kent's district to see if the lines can be modified in such a way so that more of her current constituents would be included in her district in option D, the revised option D. But as Deborah said, if there are other concerns or preferences that folks have identified that they think should also be taken into account, now would be a good time for folks to bring those up. It might require a new motion, but.
You know, we never got really a list of communities of interest.
Does anybody have a list of the communities?
That was in some of the earlier materials.
Right. And that's what I asked you. That was my question for my district the last time that he gave me.
That those were in, and we can resend that, but it was in one of the earlier presentations. I think with presentation C, it included a included in this slide presentation was excerpts that identified the communities of interest that the community group presented and requested. And again, that's the only thing that we got out of the month that we had the portal open. But I'd be glad to send that again to board members. Absolutely. If there's nothing else, I think we have our marching orders. Thank you.
We thank you for coming. Richard? Mr. Blake, how long is it going to take you to share the next concern about what Mr. Ellis asked about? How long?
I should be able to have those by the end of this week.
By the end of this week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I'll clarify the board's desire, preference on that. In the past, as we have shared them with the board in a public meeting, I don't know if you all want to have it in a meeting or if you want these sent to you and then posted online at the same time so that you've had a chance to look at them before the next meeting. That would have them presented to the public without having them presented at a board meeting. But I think you all have expressed a desire for transparency, and so if you have them at that point, they become public records. And so, but again, if the board's preference, we can make that work. Spring break's coming up. I'll be out the rest of the month after the 22nd. So that's just something to keep in mind, how you would like those delivered, how you'd like that map delivered.
Yeah, we need to see, because we really don't know what we're getting.
I think it'd be good to see it before we got in.
May I ask a question about the date thing, Dr. Brown? So with that motion in place, so now we dismiss all this. Because he said the end of the week, so he's talking about 17th, 18th, he'll have it. So there's another full week and a half in April.
It would be a quick turnaround.
Very good.
We can try to keep some of those dates, and but we would still require approval of the board for specific maps that are communicated and advertised for the public.
Okay.
We can work on the dates and adjust the dates.
I'm thinking what needs to happen, that you would send it so that the public could see it and send it to us as board members. Because we know how to read and study the map, the changes, and we'll be able to see it. So I'm thinking we need to receive it, and so does the public. That's what I think. What about the rest of the board? Anybody think we shouldn't do that? I'm thinking we need to study before we come back face to face.
But I think we should have a separate meeting before May, before our regular May meeting, just to discuss that map. Because the one we're stretching it out, then we got a long meeting in May.
That's true, because it's a student,
Yeah.
Gold Key student.
It's a long meeting.
If we give it, I think the end of the week.
That would be good. That's not going to be good for me.
No, I'm not talking about a meeting, I'm talking about will Blake be done?
I'm not going to be able to look at it by the end of this week.
No, I'm asking will he be done by the end of the week, and then we look at it the first part of next week, and then schedule a meeting.
I think it may be relevant to share that both, it sounds like, I think both Deborah and I would not be able to attend, neither of us would be able to attend the meeting after the 20th for that part of April. So that those final 10 days of April, I think, are not options for us to be able to be in a meeting. Is that correct, Deborah? For you as well?
22nd for me, but yeah, the rest of the month after the 22nd.
I think the most important thing to me is that the community get the map, access to the maps at the same time we get access to the maps. To be able to look at them, and that way the group has plenty of time to look at them as well as we do.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah.
Even if the community look at the map, I think the community has already made up their mind on what option they wanted to use. And that's what I draw the line right there. The community has put their input in, they have studied the maps, and we're getting ready to make another alteration to a map that they have already studied for how many weeks? For how many weeks? Now, I figure I'm on this board and I feel that I have a voice just like everyone else. They have studied the map for weeks. For weeks. And none of us on this board will ever get exactly what we want when it comes to drawing a map. So let's put aside our differences and let's do what's best for the community and our students.
As a whole.
Community and our students. It's not about our feelings and what we want. It's about what is right when it comes to Edgecombe County community and Edgecombe County schools, okay? That's my say.
And I agree with you, but we've only heard from one community. We haven't heard from Pine Tops. We haven't heard from Charter.
They had an opportunity to come. They had an opportunity to come, just like everybody else.
Just as long for them.
And I think we don't do any meetings in this building without giving public knowledge of it. Public notice is given out within so many days of the meeting. And that's my point of view, and I'm sticking with it. Okay? Thank you.
Okay?
Madam Chair, I'd like to see us go to it as well. Rather than to keep coming back trying to make a one person whole. This is a community thing, and not about making a person whole. None of us are going to be whole. Can't bring in 10,000 new people and everybody stay whole the same. Can't do that.
We made a motion to hear Mr. Ellis's request. I think we should stick to it. You got your mind made up. That's what you're telling me. So if you read whatever Blake is able to do with D based on Mr. Ellis's request, it shouldn't change your mind. If you already got your mind made up. And because you got your mind made up, Ms. Worsley got hers made up and not gonna change, it takes his request away.
I'm not sure I understand, but let's keep moving. That makes sense to me. Let's keep going. That doesn't make sense. Not it.
Dr. Bryant, we will ask you to make sure we get the dates and things. You're gonna work on that as such.
Yes, ma'am.
With the schools,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? All right? And you'll be in touch with us. Okay. Sticking with the agenda, item 8.2B. That's Ms. Hope.
Hello once again. I am here tonight to present the calendar for the early colleges. I hope you have received an updated copy in your packet this evening. So you'll notice that this calendar, again, is for both Edgecombe Early College and Edge Academy of Health Sciences. It follows, it's a very similar calendar to the calendar we had this year. The teacher work days and the early release days, holidays within the school year are very similar to, or identical to the traditional calendar dates. So they'll be able to work with the traditional schools on district-wide PD and things such as that. And you also notice in August the 19th, we once again included a teacher work day, so the teachers from the early colleges can attend our district-wide convocation. Other than that, it is, again, very similar to this year's calendar and pretty much following our traditional calendar with the days that students are not in school. I'll be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions on the calendar for the early college and the Edge Academy? Hearing none, we need the motion for approval of 8.2.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve fiscal year 2025-2026 calendar for EC Early College, Edgecombe Early College, and Edge Academy Health Science.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve FY 25-26 calendar for the early college and Edge Academy. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion's carried. Thank you. 8.3B, Dr. Brown.
Madam Chair, this recommendation for approval waiving facility use fees, except for the cost of custodian for Eagles Baptist Church using the Carver Elementary School gym on June 19, 2025 setup for Vacation Bible School June 22nd to 26th, 2025, 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And complying with all time limits for community use facilities policy 5030.
Does anybody have any concern? on this request. We hear a motion for approval if we hear no discussion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion for the approval of waiving facilities use fees, except the cost of custodian required to be on campus during the event of Eagles Baptist Church using the Carver Elementary School gym on June 19, 2025, to set up and June 22nd through the 26th, 2025, from 8 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. to conduct Community Vacation Bible School. The request exceeds a single use of 6-hour time limit, and to waive fees per community use of facilities policy.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve the facility use fees for Eagles Baptist Church using Carver Elementary School June 19, 2025 to set up, and June 22nd through 26th from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. to conduct Community Bible School. This request exceeds a single use, the 6 hours limit, and to waive fees per the community use of facilities policy 5030. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. 8.4B, Mr. Haynes.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Board Member, Superintendent Dr. Bryan. I have two items of action before you tonight. Both of them are from the COPS grant that we were awarded last year. The first one, 8.4B, is a request for board approval to purchase of security cameras, installation, and licensing for middle schools and high schools, and to award the bid to Encore in the amount of $593,013.48. The funds were awarded through the COPS SVPP grant. 75% of the cost in the amount of $444,760.11 will be used from the grant funds, which is PRC 376. The district has a matching share of 25% of the cost, and that is $148,253.37. And we were using state school safety funds, PRC 40, along with capital outlay PRC 077. This was posted as a formal bid and rubric used to award. The winning bid met all of the bidding criteria. I listed a chart here of all of the bids that were received for the COPS grant RFP, and Encore met all the bidding criteria and presented the best return on investment for the cameras.
Madam Chair, if you choose to approve this, it should be approved pending review by the board attorney.
And Patricia has submitted the contract, and I submitted it to Encore. Encore has signed it, and so right now we just need, if it's approved, the board to countersign that contract.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions about it. I would entertain any concerns from the board, and if we don't have any, then I need to hear a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the purchase of security cameras, installation, and license for middle schools and high schools to reward the bid to Encore in the amount of $593,013.48, subject to review by the attorney approval. Right? Did I get it right?
Yes. Second.
That's it.
It has been moved and second that we will approve, award the bid to Unco and in the amount of $593,013.48. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Mr. Haynes, continue.
Yes, 8.5B is a request for board approval for the purchase of the window film protection for our middle and high schools from the COPS SBPP grant, and to award the bid to Tent Nerds in the amount of $24,260. 75% again of the cost in the amount of $18,195 will be used from grant funds. The remaining 25% of the cost, $6,065, will be paid from the state school safety funds, along with any capital outlay that's needed for the project. This was posted as a formal bid and rubric used to award. The winning bid met all the bidding criteria, and I have listed all the bids we received.
Okay. Any questions, anyone to Ms. Haynes? Hearing none, I need to hear a motion for approval.
Madam Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the purchase of window film protection for middle schools and high schools, and to award the bid to Tenders, yeah, in the amount of $24,260.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we will approve the purchase of window film protection for middle school and high school, and to award the bid to Tenures in the amount of $24,260. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, kindly. 8.6B, cash.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, and Dr. Bryan. I stand before you tonight requesting board approval of the purchase of CTE instructional materials, digital content, and hands-on activities for middle school CTE career readiness and fifth grade career awareness for next school year, 25-26, from Paxton Patterson as the sole source in the amount of $119,322.93 using PRC 14 CTE state funds. Currently, we have 2 middle schools actively using Paxton Patterson, and we would like to make sure that all 6 middle schools have the same materials and equipment and exposure to career readiness, and along with providing the career development coordinators materials, portable Paxton Patterson materials for 5th grade career awareness.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Hett about the program that she requested? Hearing none, could we hear a motion for approval?
Madam Chair, I make a motion for the approval of the purchase of CTE instructional materials, digital content for middle school CTE career readiness and 5th grade career awareness for the 25-26 school year in the amount of $119,322.93 using PRC 014 CTE funds.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we will approve the purchase of CTE instructional materials, digital content for middle school CTE career readiness for 5th grade career awareness for the 25-26 school year. And Braxton Patterson is the sole source.
Madam Chair.
I understand, Rose pointed out that part of the motion language was left out, indicating that it's a sole source from Paxton.
I didn't.
I just want to be sure that's part of the record, that it's a sole source.
Okay. Well, I'm middle way of of repeating the motion. Is that okay to continue?
Yes.
All right. We're aware, we have this career awareness for our 25th, 26th school year from the Braxton Patterson and as a sole source in the amount of $119,322.93. Using PRC 014 CTE funds. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Here. Right.
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bryan. I come before you this evening to request the Board approval of the revision of our Opportunity Culture Advanced Teaching Roles Career Ladder and stipends for the addition of the remotely located multi-classroom leader educator. We are currently part of a 3-year grant that the Board has previously approved, and part of that grant is that they are piloting the remote MCL role. We currently are working with Rockingham County Schools, so we are the first set of districts to try this out in the state. But one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we had the Board approval on is to add the stipend for that remote located MCL to our current stipend. We took advice from Public Impact, looking at different models to decide our final one that we proposed, and our proposal requests that the MCL maintain their current base stipend, and then they receive an additional stipend per teacher at the school that they are supporting remotely. If it's for a non-Title I school, it would be $1,300 for the annual calendar year, and then for a Title I school, it'd be $1,600 for the calendar year, and that would be prorated because we are aware that remote MCLs may only be there for 3 to 6 months sometimes, and so we would prorate that by a 10-month stipend. So we're here to request your approval to add this role and this stipend to our current Opportunity Culture Career Ladder.
Okay, I don't have any questions for you. And what about the board members? Any of the board members?
You say
Okay. Go ahead.
You say this is, we are the first.
We are
to
the
use
first
this.
district. So we started the school year, we have one in-district remote MCL currently working at the early college and working at Edge. But second semester started, we are working with Rockingham. So we are exporting our talent. We have a very talented MCL supporting at North Edgecombe, and she is now supporting 2 math teachers in Rockingham.
That's great.
Yes, yes. So we're excited to be on the cusp of innovation and hopefully create a model for the state that they can implement statewide.
We got one more thing to say.
Okay.
Mr. Carmen used to say, we want to get off the list. We want to be put on the list for this.
Yes, yes. And we will share, they've already started to do a couple of stories about the work through EdNC, so we can share those stories. Yes. We will also have the opportunity to import talent if we need to from other districts later on if they decide.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Ms. Spears? Hearing none.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the approval of the revision to the current opportunity culture, advanced teaching roles, career ladder, and stipends to include the remotely located MCL annual stipend.
Second.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve the revision to the current opportunity cultures, advanced teaching roles, career ladder, and stipends to include the remotely located MCL annual stipend.
Who's second?
Kent. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Take them.
Madam Chair, I make a motion under the North Carolina Open Meetings Law, Section 143-318.11, A, L, and A3, A6 to go into closed session, to consider personnel matters, to consult with the attorney to reserve attorney-client privilege information, and to present the disclosure of student records rendered confidential under the Family Educational Rights Act, Privacy Act, 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and the disclosure of personnel records rendered confidential under GS 115C-319 through 321.
It has been moved that we will go into closed session. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We'll take about 5 minutes.
In your pocket. This is the home screen. Tap the 3 horizontal lines in the bottom left to see all the menu items. To turn on push notifications, tap Settings, select Notification Preferences, and allow notifications. Tap Subscriptions to subscribe to your school. The Events section shows a list of events throughout the school. You can use this button to add an event to your calendar, or tap here to share the event with friends and family. The Feed is where you'll find updates from administration about what's going on throughout the school, whether that's celebrating a student's success or reminding you about an upcoming deadline. Search Edgecombe County Public Schools in the App Store or Play Store to explore the app for yourself. It's everything ECPS in your pocket.
Okay.
It's great. All right, we'll get ready to go on in this meeting. Okay. 10.1, personnel management. I need a motion, people.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve our personnel management.
Second. Has been moved and properly second that we will approve our personnel management. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you very kindly. 10.12, our extracurricular activities addendum, spring sports. No one has any concerns with that? So we need to have a motion to approve our spring sports.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we approve the extracurricular activities addendum. I think it was fall.
What did I see?
It says spring.
Second.
Yeah, is that right? All right. Could we hear a motion to approve?
I think she voted. Johnson. Second, yeah.
Do you have open? We have a motion to approve our fall sports, extracurricular activities, and they are our fall sports. Who seconds? Somebody second.
Johnson.
It has been moved and properly second that we will approve the fall sports agenda. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you. Okay. Our next item, March 10th, 2025, our regular business closed session minutes. We just read.
You skip March 3rd.
March 3rd. Well, I'm back up. We need to approve our March 3rd special call meeting agenda, minutes. Could we hear a motion for those?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve our March 3rd, 2025 special call meeting closed session minutes.
Second.
Has been moved and properly second that we will approve our March 3rd, 2025, our special call meeting closed session minutes. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Now we'll move to our March 10th. Regular business closed session minutes.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the March 10th, 2025 regular business closed session minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we will approve our March 10th, 2025 regular business closed session minutes. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion is carried. Okay, board correspondence. Anybody have any correspondence, please? trying to find the last questions I needed to ask in this session. Who will be attending the April 17th, 18th Black Summit in Raleigh? Who will be attending?
I am.
Okay.
I will attend Thursday, but not Friday.
I checked our budget, that's the reason. And it would be very important to us, when I looked at our line item, if we could go together for just an overnight meeting. Could we have someone to volunteer to drive? We only have a green van that we use from a volunteer standpoint. From
Madam Chair,
yeah.
I would not drive the Green Hornet. But I'll drive. I don't mind driving.
But not the van.
Mr. Privilege.
Not the van.
No, ma'am.
All right, okay. We will, thank you very much.
But don't we have it's a 2-night stay, right?
It's a one night.
It's a one night.
One night stay. One night.
I think, yeah, because I was at,
You've got the folder. What is your hotel ticket?
So what?
Let's see.
checkout time is Saturday.
Y'all
I was there, and she was
It's a
telling me
late session that Friday.
that Friday night, the
Really?
reception,
Yeah,
it's
very
at 7.
Doesn't it usually end around 10, though? Isn't it really late? Y'all didn't want to drive afterwards.
No, nobody wants to do that.
Okay, thank you very much for that part.
I'm going Thursday, but I'll come back. I have a funeral. Miss, one of our former teachers, Miss Stansel, I have to do her service.
That's right, I forgot all about that.
She was in Southwest for 40 years. Well, she was first at West, and then she finished at Southwest. English teacher.
Okay, I will talk to you, Ms. Lily, since you're the driver. And Ms. Rose will book the canvas van. Number 2. Friday, May the 9th. What's that all about? Why did I need to bring that up? Brian, you have anything on Friday, May 9th for us? Oh,
That's the community college graduation that day.
yes.
But that's
it's
the only thing I can think of.
Oh, is it all day from,
It's in the afternoon.
it starts at 4 p.m.?
I believe that's correct.
You have to have a ticket, and I have to go back, so can I find the email? It was in an email.
I believe there was an invitation sent out at the end of last week.
Yes, to everyone. Does anyone plan to go? Edgecombe Community College.
Not the early college, okay.
No, not the early.
No, I sat through 34 years of those.
I do plan to attend.
Did y'all get my email to respond to that request on the ceremonies you each want to attend?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll have to share that with the schools. And generally for that one, you drive yourself. You don't do the green van.
So what, Ms. Rose?
Generally, the early college, you drive straight there. You don't get on the green van.
Right, but I think there's something about a parking ticket There was quite a few things that the person.
That was it. That was the community college that had the parking thing. She said early college.
Who said early college? It's not the Edgecombe Early College?
It's community college.
Community college.
It's the community college.
Community college. You
Graduation.
sent a different one out. It's two separate ones.
Oh, I'm not familiar with
Right, you sent a different one out.
This came from another girl.
The secretary at the community college.
I just needed to mention that because.
Oh, so that's what I was replying to. I didn't read that.
That's what it was, early college.
That's the early
It was,
college.
it was a community college.
Community college.
So she sent it out for community college.
Okay, that ends any comments. Anybody else have any comments other than a motion for adjourn?
So
Second.
Has been moved and second that we will adjourn this meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, the same sign.